Placing the four corners of the feet. The four corners of the feet are the ball mound of the big toe right at the base of the toe, the inner heel, the ball mound of the little toe, and the outer heel. And I'm going to show you how to place them to have balanced feet, a balanced stance. You start by walking in place and just allowing your feet to fall naturally. And then make your feet parallel to each other. For placing the four corners of the feet, lift your heel up on your right foot and press down through the ball mound of the big toe. Stretch the arch back and place the inner heel down. Spread your toes and place the ball mound of the little toe and then the outer heel. Pause and feel the connection to the earth and the groundedness through that foot compared to the other one. Here's the second side. Lifting the heel up, place the ball mound of the big toe down and pressing down through it. Stretch your arch back and place the inner heel. Spread your toes and place the ball mound of the little toe and the outer heel. Balanced feet leads to great ankle strength, great for the arches and supporting the knees and hips. This is shins in, thighs apart with a block. And place it right between the shins and the fleshiest part of the calves. Bend the knees, place the hands on the knees. This pose is often called downhill skier pose. If you can imagine skier. In this variation, we have our hands on the knees. Notice my arms are straight and I'm lifting my sitting bones. Spread your fourth and fifth toes. So you have to imagine these toes going back towards the outer heels. Notice they don't move a lot, but I'm doing the action as if I could take them back to the outer heels. There won't be a lot of movement, but you'll feel more pressure on the block. These fourth and fifth toes control some muscles when they spread that help you squeeze the shin bones towards the midline. Really good for knee health, ankle health, and getting up into the hips. The second part is to cross your wrist right in front of each other and place them on your upper inner thighs. The hand placement is important. Have your thumbs on top and your fingers inside. And then you roll your thighs in towards the midline and push them apart. When you do this, you'll feel some space, perhaps at the sitting bones and even up into the sacrum. So I'm spreading my toes, shins in, and pushing my thighs apart. This is great for knee health and getting up into the hips and low back. You'll start to feel the spaciousness here. And keeping toes spread and pushing your thighs apart, straighten your legs. You'll find new freedom in your forward bend this way. To come up out of the pose, hands to hips, take your tailbone and pelvic bones down and lift your belly up so that the pelvis is the fulcrum. I'll show the coming up again. Fourth and fifth toes spread, and I'm pushing my thighs apart. Hands to hips. Straighten your legs. Check this out. Pelvic bones down, belly lifts, pelvis is the fulcrum. This is feet up on a rolled blanket. Great for the feet, knees, hips, back. Take your yoga blanket and start, if your blanket has fringe, start from the end that does not have fringe. And roll it up just halfway, not the full way. Then I'd like you to place the first third of your foot up on the rolled blanket. I'll make that a little less. It looks like this, feet parallel. Bend your knees, hands on your knees. This is downhill skier pose with feet up on a rolled blanket. Here's deeper, forearms to the thighs. This is great for the feet, arches, and really the foundation for a lot of the back work that we do. Hold for 5 to 10 breaths and just enjoy. To come out of this pose, you'll step off the blanket, bring your hands to your hips, thighs go back, lift your belly, and stand straight up. This is a lunge with a twist, great for starting to get up more into the upper back, mid-back area. Start with one leg in front. Notice I have a right angle at my knee. So you do not want to do this pose with the knee forward of the ankle and not open knee. Think square or right angle. Fingertips is great here. Lift the knee up and back. And this is your basic lunge pose. If you're not able to lift your leg up and keep hands on the floor, this is when we bring in yoga blocks. Give yourself some height. Same thing, lift yourself up. For the twist variation, the same hand as the leg that's forward comes to the hip. In this position, we have the tendency of lifting the hip up. I want you to settle deep in the hip. In fact, bend the back knee until the hip is level with the knee, and then with power, straighten the leg. Tailbone down, lift the belly, and start to twist open. It's an open throat. Twist in the spine. Touching the knee down, come to hands and knees. And I'll show you a back view now so you can see the spine. Leg comes forward, right angle. With an inhalation, lift the leg up and back. The hip may be high. To get it down, bend the back knee until you can bring your hip level with the knee, and then send power through the back leg. Hand to the hip. It's the same hand as the leg that's forward. Now watch my spine. It's tailbone down. I lift the belly. Lengthen in the torso. And I'm going to twist right in the middle of the back here. Open throat. Back leg stay strong. Enjoy the opening. Come back around. Knee touches down. And come out of your pose. In this pose, you'll need a yoga strap. Fold the strap in half. You really don't need much length. And it doesn't matter where the buckles are. Just take a strap. Place the strap behind you. Notice I have my palms facing back, away from me. And I'm holding the strap about a little bit wider than my shoulders. And that's the placement of the strap. You'll bending the elbows, bring the hands to your hips. Feet are straight ahead. All those principles of the legs apply. Tailbone down. Here's an important part. Inhale and shrug up. I want you to lengthen the side of your body and bring your shoulders back, and then stretch your arms. In this position, open your feet as wide as your yoga mat. Bend the knees and take a seat, and then shoulders and arms come overhead. Here's how we work the pose. Inhale, arms go up towards the sky. You'll feel shoulder blades come on the back more. So here's shoulder blades not on the back. Here's lifting arms up and shoulder blades coming toward the spine. Then big exhale, slide the shoulder blades with your arms toward overhead. It's a great release for the neck. I repeat, arm bones up, shoulder blades with the arms, exhale. To come out of the pose, hands to hips. You'll have to bring your torso up at least halfway. Thighs go back. Inhale, stand straight up. This is cat-cow pose. I work a little differently with the breath than how this pose is typically taught, so pay attention to the breath here particularly. Start with your shoulders over your wrist and your toes turned under and back. The knees slightly behind the hips. With an inhalation, go to cat stretch. From here, you'll breathe into the back body, look towards your belly, and lift your belly towards your gaze. Big cat stretch, broadening in the back. Exhale, release to cow. In cow, the arms stay straight and strong. Look up. Inhale for cat pose. Fill up your back body, extend through straight arms, lift the belly towards your gaze. Exhale, squeeze those arms to the midline to keep them strong. Release. This is a great pose for fluidity in the spine. Inhaling, so you can just pulsate with your breath. Exhale. Feel the movement through the vertebrae in this pose. And end with a neutral back. This is Inchworm Pose. It's a great pose for learning how to work with the tailbone and moving it. We don't have a lot in any of our physical activities where we actually work with the tailbone. So it takes some time to develop the awareness and get this movement. And this pose really isolates it for us. The tailbone is at the base of the spine, and it's moved with the pelvic floor muscles. These can be very weak muscles, and this pose will help you find them and use them. You start on your stomach with knees bent and feet flexed. Your forehead is on your hands in this position. But for this pose, I'm going to lift my head up so that you can hear well. Number 1 is press the knees down and lift the sitting bones up. Now I want you to watch my low back. I'm taking my tailbone towards the floor. Just visualize it, imagine it, and it will happen. Tailbone goes down and my low back gets longer. And then I take my pelvic bones down and lengthen and look up. Think inchworm. Knees pressed down, lift the sitting bones, stage 1. Now, this is the tailbone action. What not to do is you do not want to create buns of steel and really hug and take yourself down. Instead, knees pressed down, sitting bones lift. Then pelvic floor muscles, just visualize taking the tailbone towards the floor and lift your low belly. This will be the action. If you feel your low belly tone, you're doing it. My buttock muscles are toned, but they're not gripped like buns of steel. Stage 3 is pelvic bones down, lengthen through your torso and look up. Here's the 3 actions again. Number 1, knees pressed down, lift the sitting bones. Number 2, take the tailbone down and lift the low belly. The low back lengthens and strengthens. Number 3, pelvic bones to the floor, lengthen through your torso and look up. This is a quad stretch. You'll stand with your side to the wall, hand on the wall. We're taking balance out of it by having your hand on the wall. Bend your leg, it's the leg that's away from the wall, and take the ankle to top of foot. It's important here to line up your bent knee with your straight leg so it's not forward of it and it's not winged out. Here I squeeze my legs to the midline, take my tailbone down and lift the belly, and then draw the foot towards the outside of the hip. You'll hold 3 to 5 to 7 breaths. This is extended leg pose. Start with knees bent, feet on the floor. Bring your leg towards you and hold on to the back of the thigh. The hands are in the middle of the hamstring versus up in the knee joint. Right in the middle, flex your foot. Now, the tendency in this pose is to bring the leg as close to you as you can, and we are not going to do this. Instead, push your leg away from you and hold and press the thigh into your hand. This up leg is really an instrument for working the bottom leg. Think of it that way. So I'm pressing thigh into hand, and with that pressure, placing the leg on the floor. My low back is not flat into the floor, so I'm not doing this pose. This is no. I hope you can see this doesn't look too comfortable. And then I want you to press your thigh into your hand, move it away. You'll get a little arch in your low back. And I'm using this pressure of the up leg to ground the bottom leg down. So in this pose, it's really about the bottom leg and keeping it grounded. From here, straighten your leg. The actions are the same in both legs. The bottom leg presses into the floor. The top thigh presses into your hand, both grounding. Keeping the bottom leg grounded, do go as close to your torso as you can, and you'll get a stretch in your hamstring. You're welcome to bring your hands up your leg, even go to your foot. But if the bottom leg pops up, that's no. You've lost the value of the pose. Come back, press, get the bottom leg, and then stretch. The principle we're working with in all our poses is to create tone. This is tone in the back when I press and ground the leg, and then I lengthen the curve of the spine. Big stretch in the hamstrings, also great for the low back. Then releasing the arms, extend out through the leg, and keep it straight as you lower it all the way to the floor. And when you touch, enjoy the letting go. You'll repeat second side. Hold the pose 3 to 5 to 7 breaths. Here's how to get into Shavasana so you have a really restful pose for the end of your practice. Lie back, legs together, feet flexed, robot arms. So we start out a bit active. Then pressing your elbows down into the floor, you'll activate the upper back muscles. Use them to lift your torso up and get your shoulder blades underneath you. And then lower your torso back down. Arms come to A shape. Allow your legs to relax, your upper back to relax. And open your legs almost as wide as the mat. Use your first few exhalations to suggest for the body to become really heavy into the floor, a letting go for deeper relaxation.